It is a Tuesday. It is February 3rd. We've got surf along the coast. We've got temperatures today that are going to end up, this is yesterday at Mavericks. We've got temperatures today that are going to end up in the 60s, 70s, and even 80s. Surf along the coast yesterday warranted a surf advisory. We've got that again today. We've got rain for California. Looks like pretty good opportunities for some significant kind of a storm series. We'll look into that in the computer models. We've got the surf advisories from Northern California to Southern California. Swell is dropped today. You'll see that. Here's live Mavericks. But as we get into Thursday and Friday, the swell comes back up quickly. And Thursday, Friday, it looks like we'll see Mavericks break again, and then the high surf advisories. The king tides are dying down. We'll take a peek at those. Dense fog advisory. We've had nothing but dense fog advisories this year. Wind advisory in Southern California, which is sort of interesting considering the air quality. We're going to look at air quality as well. We go right down to Ashland, Oregon, or up to Ashland, Oregon. Temperature in Ashland today, 44 degrees. That's this morning. This is a live camera. It's going to make it to 58 degrees today in Ashland. So if you have never been to Ashland, Oregon, we used to go to that Shakespearean festival there. This is Truckee, California. Truckee, as you would expect, is cold. It's 17 degrees. Live camera there. 17 degrees, that's not bad. And then it ends up at 54 degrees today. It's warm on the hill. Checking ski resorts, they've been getting temperatures in, like this morning, Mammoth's at 35 degrees. Palisades is at 33 degrees, so above the freeze line, so they're not making snow, which is, I know, much to their chagrin. But this next weather system looks like it's going to be productive and has the ability to be more of a storm series than anything. Series being multiple events. We'll see, but it looks good. The live picture from Venice shows 58 degrees right now. Venice, California today. Listen to this. It's going to go 75 degrees at this spot right at the beach. Downtown Los Angeles is going to get close to 84 degrees. We could see some record warmth today in parts of California and Southern Oregon. These are the watches, warnings, advisories. Along the coast, that is still, they still have a beach hazard statement. I would make it a high surf advisory. If I'm you, if I'm at the beach, if I'm crab fishing or surfing, it's large along the coast. There's the dense fog advisory. It gets dropped early, but it does play into the air quality. There's the surf along the coast. I say this because you still have fairly significant high tides. The high tide this morning, or it's kind of mid-morning, and it's not. The king tides have sort of gone away, but you're still dealing. It takes a while for them to completely go away. Ocean Beach right now is about 8 to 10 feet. And then this is the tide chart from today. So here we are this morning. It was a low tide at 6:10, a 1.8 foot, so positive one, almost 2 feet. This afternoon, it peaks up at a 5.6 and then drops down to a 0. So you can see it's less of a tide swing. So you can see these bumps are not as extreme as the bumps that we had during the king tides. So still something to think about just because the tide's high and the swell's big, and places like Santa Cruz, West Cliff, places like that where surfers or people who are learning to surf think it's easy to get out on high tide, but it's hard to get in because the waves are breaking against the cliffs. There's this high surf warning in purple along the coast at Lompoc, Santa Maria, right in here. And that's a smart move on their part. You've got dense fog advisory into Bakersfield, and then you've got bad air quality and wind in Southern California. Well, not horrible air quality because of the wind, but you've got some air quality and wind issues. So we'll take a peek at those as well. As a matter of fact, we can do that right now. We'll go take a look at the air quality at the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley. This, of course, is up by the Grapevine, looking down into the bowl. And you can see the air, right? It does not look good. And as we load up purple air, this measures particulate matter, 2.5 microns and smaller. And that's not good, right? We're back into some bad air. Yesterday wasn't bad. Bay Area's had some issues, but that foothill stuff, right? Granite Bay, Roseville, Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, the Valley, those are big numbers. When you see in red this time of year, that's not what you should be seeing this time of year at all. And that's an indication of the high pressure and the inversion. And then Southern California, back on. Despite the wind that we have in Southern California, we're going to take a look at that in a minute, but some of these numbers, 151 parts per million, that's PM 2.5, and you can see the trend kind of trending into the unhealthy over the last day or so. So, yeah. Okay, we'll keep an eye on the air quality for you. The winds are up, though. There's that wind advisory in Southern California. Gusting, if you can remember how these things work, that's the wind gust. The red number, these are wind gusts. So right now, up on near Ontario, you've got gusts to 29 miles an hour, kind of out of the north. Not a huge wind field. You're not seeing it right down at the water's edge yet, but that should start to blow some of that smog or smoke out of the Los Angeles basin. So we'll keep an eye on that. They don't have an air quality alert. They have a wind advisory, which is, it should help. This is the system we're tracking. It's a little further south. That's some good news. You can see it, right? Visually, you're like, okay, even though the trajectory is going north, and that's the trough, right? Deep trough, big ridge, and then trough out here. And so this area is definitely going to erode this ridge. This ridge can't stand up to a trough this aggressive. So it's slowly eroding, and by Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week, looks like we're into something. So we'll take a look at the models right now. Hope you're having a good day. Got a lot of comments. I love you guys tell me where you're from. I don't know why that's so, because it's never from, it's always from I shouldn't say that. They're from everywhere, but it's just, I don't know, like Sierraville and Wairika and Weed and all these little towns. I'm like, yeah, in the house. This is the system. And can you see the system we were looking at, that one I was just showing in satellite? Right, there it is, that big thing over here. Okay, so that's pushing that ridge down hard. See it, it's trying to hold on. It bubbles up, and then these two undercut, right? See how that kind of double barrel low there? Boom, boom. Hope you can see that. And then flattens it. This is on Sunday afternoon. So pretty much what we have right now is what we're going to see right through the weekend. I know, but listen, we're going to take what we can get. But then look at this low fetch. The ridge flattens out. That's something. That's Monday, Tuesday, or thereabouts, and then another trough drops in behind it, and then that backs out. That's going to come back into play for Southern California, and then see how it gets pulled back in. That's interesting. So I'm watching these. This is the parent trough now. As we get down to, we're into the 15th of February, and then this is this cutoff low. So let's back up and watch the progression. And back up, because we can see the cutoff low here, right? So there it is, that guy. So it kind of lingers, right? Gathering fuel further south, moisture. So that's a fuel source. And then see how it merges in. It gets cut off, but then it goes, oh, okay, I want to hook back up, and then it swings in with that. So that's sort of basic jet stream 101, but pretty awesome. That's the energy. This is the fuel. I always show you this just because you can go, the AR thing. That's all they're doing is they're watching this. So that, there's an AR, there's an AR, there's an AR. Got it. It just matters if it's pointed at you. It's just a moisture plume. And so here's the moisture plume. I'm looking for fuel for any potential activity. So that first opportunity was what, Sunday night? This is Saturday, this is Sunday morning, right? See a little bit, certainly Northern California, a little bit. See it just kissing the coast there. So there's some fuel. It's not a lot. So you're not going to hear the words. You shouldn't hear ARs on this. There's components of an AR that'll get wrapped into these systems. So, and that's that low. Remember that low we talked about down there? This guy. It just shows up in the precipitable water model because it's reacting to the atmospherics, the upper level atmospherics. So sea level now, we're going to go down. We're going to look at lines, which those dashed lines represent thickness. The thing to know with those, that's just we've talked about, right? Thickness, air columns have a certain thickness up to 500 millibars, and you measure that. Thicker, above 500 millibars, means that you've got warmer air. Lower, Means you got cooler air. Cooler air is dense, warmer air is more of an expanded column. So those dashed lines represent those values, thickness versus shallow. So when you see further south, you're going to have these fat air columns, and up north where it's cooler, you're going to have narrow air columns at the same pressure level. And the narrow kind of comes in. So that's how you can tell if cold air is advecting, meaning that there is a transfer of temperature differential, potential for activity, and temperature, just basic temperature. That was a horrible explanation. Sorry. So, but you can play with those. Google search the thickness lines. They're not that hard. But the black lines are just straight up isobars. They're contours as if you were hiking on a hiking trail. So, and it's not much. So like if I'm walking across that landscape, I'm like, it's pretty flat, right? Not much elevation gain. Walking across that landscape, not pretty flat. But all of a sudden, look to the left, you see a hill coming in here, right? That's a hill, or in this case, it's a trough, so you're going down the hill. It's a contour, just like when you go backpacking. So here comes Sunday morning, evening, right? And see the thickness lines popping in. That's a cool down. See how they're coming in? They're lined up. The dash lines are lined up like railroad ties, railroads, like like corduroy, and they're pushing in because that low is bringing cooler air. And the pressure gradient is saying, I'm starting to tighten up too because this low is getting close to the high. See the railroad tracks? I know, it's a lot. If you look at this enough, I bet a lot of you guys got this. I'd be interested. If you want to, especially you hardcores, let me know what you think if you do feel like you understand so I don't have to talk about thicknesses. I don't mind at all, but I just know it's confusing. It's confusing because you can make your brain pop it into a third D, right? 3D. You can't, railroad tracks, you go, oh yeah, you can kind of almost go on a flat level. You can see it that way. You can make sense of it. But when you're talking about thicknesses, you got to go make your brain turn everything on end. So, but tell me what you think. I used to struggle with that in school. This is Sunday night. And then there's a little something, right? That thing kind of backs into the Sierra Nevada on Tuesday, February 10th. So Tuesday, February 10th. Wednesday, look at that thing going down the coast. That's the deal. And then it opens up to the north again. I thought I saw something here. Yeah, and then that opens up again. So that's all Fantasyland stuff because it's a dynamic situation. But I do know things are changing, and it's going to work out in our favor. Here is the rainfall accumulation through Monday. And then you see from Monday on, we look like we get back into some stuff. Is that going to happen? Something like that. This is Mount Shasta. Thanks for joining me today. Love all your comments. My wife she reads the comments and she's like, God, their people are so nice. I'm like, in television it was like that too. I've always had good experiences with people. Trolls and even trolls, I kind of like trolls too, just because it's like you're expressing yourself, and that's fine. I get it. Listen, weathermen, especially just weathercasters in general, not meteorologists, but weathercasters, they should be the brunt of joke. Just like lawyers sometimes are the brunt of, it's a punchline, and it should be, because it is true. I mean, it is true. Some of the stuff the jokes are funny, I think. So anyway, but you guys are all awesome. This is Mount Shasta. Let me move it over a little bit because of the sun angle. So we're looking, that's Weed right there, or not Weed, I'm sorry, that's Wairika. We're looking to the north. And then we learned about Mount McLaughlin yesterday. Apparently the most symmetric Cascade volcano, meaning it's just almost a perfect triangle. So that's its claim to fame. See what else we got for you today. Nature snacks. This is Mount Shasta. I should just memorize it, shouldn't I? 14179. 14179. It's amazing how much snow is up there for how little activity we've had. Crescent City today is going to go 65 degrees. Redding's going to go 71 degrees. Beautiful day along the coast, but there is some coastal fog. Again, these cameras are live as of before lunchtime, but you get an idea, right? And you see some clouds up to the north. This is Fort Jones looking at, I think it's Tom Martin Peak, the forest ranger. They named it after. It was one of the first fire lookouts. And that's a nice day in Fort Jones. Fort Jones today is going to go 59, 60 degrees. And then this is looking towards, I thought this was interesting. Of course, I'm fascinated by where I grew up because you know how we all are. And I'm just like, okay, there's the canyon I used to get in trouble in all the time. Oh my God. But that's the west branch of the Feather River, right? And that flume I talked about the other day, I think we talked about, but there's the tunnels through the flumes. There's the river, and then up along the edge there's a ditch, they used to call it. And they would use that to get water further down the way and have access to it. But there was a hole, I mean, just basically a mining tunnel about as big as a 8-year-old kid could fit into. I kid you not. And we would take inner tubes and raft through these things. If you grew up in Paradise, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if that hole is still there. I can't imagine it is. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. We used to do it all the time. I was like, God. But anyway, this is the river, the West Branch, but look where it bleeds to. I just noticed it's because it's kind of down here. This comes in here, and that's Lake Orville, right? So this is the Feather River drainage basin, and this is one of the main drainages. So I've never really noticed Lake Orville before. And what I think that could be is maybe a little bit of fog on the lake. That's why I'm seeing it. But that would be certainly where Lake Orville is. And then, what we got here? Oh, we're looking at Deer Park West. I set these up earlier. Where are we, Bill? Oh, I think we're in Yountville. Is that Yountville? Let me check. Dang it. Yeah, Yountville. So Yountville was named for George Yount. He was a Mexican-era cattle rancher and farmer. He goes back to the 1830s in California. And Yountville has the highest density. I was trying to find stuff on Yountville. Pretty shishy. The highest density of Michelin star-rated hotels. Michelin star, you know, the 5-star Michelin thing. They have the highest density anywhere in the world. That's an interesting claim to fame. Plus, it's home to that veterans home that's been there since 1880, which is a big one and a huge part of the economy up there as well. San Francisco, along the coast, it's big. You can see a little sea haze. When I up on Tam and you see that kind of a haze, at least in my mind, that's breaking wave, and that's just salt particulate in the air. And that's how you know it's big, I guess. That's an indicator that it's big. Sutro Tower's back here. San Francisco's hard to see. It's right there. And then if you look hard, which I'll bet you can't see, that's Golden Gate Bridge. That's the South Tower. Right? Every time you see the Golden Gate Bridge, I don't care who you are. I've been driving over, looking at it for my whole life. And every time I go over it, it's like seeing a unicorn or something. Every freaking time. It's awesome. San Francisco today, 67 degrees. Lake Tahoe, 55. Santa Barbara, 77. This is Bishop. And I watched the show last night. I think I watched Steve on what is he called? Sidetrack Adventures, which he kicks ass. He's so awesome. Because he's not an ego dude at all. You know what I mean? Like, he's like my ego guy's got his camera. Here I am, full screen here, and here's the graphic. He's like, no, I'm going to talk for 10 seconds off the top, and then we're just going to let the beauty of California speak for itself. And he does that. But he was in Bishop doing on 395 doing that route, you know. But he went to that bakery, and I had no idea that bakery was such a big deal. I know, and I don't get a lot of baked goods, so it makes me love them more. But anyway, that's the Bishop area and the bakery, and Steve at Sidetrack Adventures is killing it. This is Salinas Valley looking up towards King City. I did get confirmation on Speed Trap in King City. So thank you guys. I appreciate that a lot. Because I was saying, I remember we used to go, you know, I would live in Santa Barbara for about a hot 7 months. Opened the Elephant Bar down there. Remember the Elephant Bar by the airport? I don't know if it's still there. But when it opened, it was a big deal. And I left Charlie Brown's in Emeryville. We'll get into the restaurant stories. I got awesome restaurant stories. Awesome. I was the first waiter in the host chain of restaurants, the Charlie Brown chain, because it was all females. It was kind of like hot, kind of like Hooters before Hooters, but I wasn't like that. But it was a lot of women. It was pretty women. But I was a busboy. They made me a waiter, and that was awesome. But when I was working at Elephant Bar in Santa Barbara. I was always getting tailed coming through King City. And I forgot to tell you something. I want to show you this. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Good TV. Okay, this is Concows just to the left, and I neglected this yesterday, but Concow, I always thought it was a tribe of Indians, but it was more of a subgroup of Indians. And Concow, Ben Concow was the Maidu leader, so the lake was named Concow. And Ben Concow, it was just sort of a weird way to. They were a group, they were a Maidu tribe, but they weren't. I always thought they were Concow Indians, but they aren't. They're part of the Maidu tribe, but they were a subgroup of the Maidu Indians. Yeah, I hope I made that less. I didn't help, did I? And then this is, where are we right now? We're looking out at, doggone you, Bill. I did this today. Oh, there we go. So, Vandenberg. Yeah, buddy. Oh, and so that's Lompoc. Hang on. That's Lompoc, one of my favorite towns. I got a couple of you guys from Lompoc. What a day, right? What a run it's been. All you guys. All of us. I shouldn't say all you guys, but from Redding, Crescent City, Eureka, Lompoc, Santa Barbara, San Diego, Santa Cruz. It has been, I mean, we need rain, but talk about amazing weather. This is the air quality zone. This is where we do have some not great air quality. This is down around Grapevine, Gorman, on the way up over the hill. Somebody chime in. Tell me, I know that looks almost like a cannery or something, doesn't it, this thing? I'm not sure what they're doing there. Somebody will know. Oh, and then they're doing some work. That was cool, right? We've seen the trucks move around. That's cool. I was excited about that. That truck's been sitting there forever, right? Bakersfield today, what did I put you guys at? Probably 68 degrees in Bakersfield. Los Angeles, 82. There's the air quality in Los Angeles, and it doesn't look great. Doesn't look horrible, especially because we're up on the hill, up on Verduga Peak, up at 3,000 feet, looking down towards Los Angeles, if you can see it. And then this is, I really just got myself in a sling, didn't I? Where am I now? This is Verduga Peak, and then I went to, more LA. So this is down by, kind of Long Beach-ish area. We're looking towards the west, essentially. And there you can see the air quality. And if you're astute, you'll see the inversion lid. Pretty shallow inversion. Now there's wind up in the hills, so I'm suspecting that that's going to scour out that air quality this afternoon and tonight. We will see. Should. And then this is Saddleback Mountain, and this is Laguna Beach area, and that's coastal fog kind of working its way, and we haven't seen that in a while. So, come on, Laguna, you can't be perfect every day. And plus, yeah, but that's the top of the hill. They call that top of the world. That's 1,000 feet. And then these are the forecast highs for today. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch this site grow. I'm kind of excited for this weather coming up because I get a lot of really good feedback from you guys. I get really good observations, which is nice because we use a lot of this is auto plot temperature stuff. These are the forecast highs for today. And you can see the reds just go, whoop, it's nice. But when you get boots on the ground numbers, which is really, did I switch it? Yeah, I did switch, and that's tomorrow. Geez, Louise, tomorrow's warmer? That much warmer? Yeah. Tomorrow Reading warms up 4 or 5 degrees. Yeah. And there is a chance for northern parts, somewhere in California or southern Oregon, or even parts of northern Oregon to get a record high temperature somewhere, which doesn't really mean tons this time of year. There's our low. There's the East Coast. That's where we live. Not bad, though, compared to what we've been seeing, right, in terms of watches, warnings, and advisories. Much better. Hawaiian Islands have windy conditions on the islands. And when do they got the green? What is that green? Let's see. I think I can pick it up. Shouldn't have green high. Oh, they do have a high surf warning. Wow. Yeah. They had the Pipe Masters. I think they're still running it. Good friend of mine, Jamie O'Brien, was in that. He got the invite. He should get the invite. Jerry Lopez still calls him. Jerry Lopez is Mr. Pipe, but he said, they asked Jerry who surfs pipe the best, and he goes, Jamie. And Jamie does. Like, it's weird. It's weird. He's an amazing athlete. This Ocean Beach. Wow, right? And you look at that. It is an easy paddle out. Easy paddle out. Tide's going high. Remember, it's high around noon. So it's not a bad high tide today. Not a bad day for surf. So you're going to see some pictures out of there. And then for the first time in a while, we're seeing good sized Point Conception. This is Point Conception. This is Halama. And then this is, oh, they got some swell. This was down San Onofre area. And they actually, they're calling it 4 or 5 foot. Oh. Which, I mean, look at the differences. I always point this out, but why is San Francisco surf culture so weird? Or not weird, but different? And why is San Diego surf culture so different? It's so different. Because the organics of where you surf make you who you are in the surf world. You are a San Diego surfer. I used to be able to, this sounds, I profiled, but I can remember Ocean Beach, especially 20, 30 years ago, when the kids started, when San Francisco State sort of became a little bit of a surf school. It's when Jeff and Mavericks kind of became a thing. People started coming this way to surf from LA. And I could sit in the water at Ocean Beach and I could tell you, and I still can, not quite as easily, where he's from. Watching him ride a wave. San Diego, Santa Barbara, Arcata. I can tell, San Francisco, Stinson Beach. I can tell you, Stinson Beach maybe not as easy, but you know I'm talking about, you guys, right? If you surf, you know. The San Diego guys, I'm just telling you, they had, because of the waves, they had such style, and they were smooth. City guys, we were strong. We lock a stance down. Cutbacks were not a thing. You're always out trying to outrun the barrel. But San Diego was all about work in the face. And so that's just two distinct examples. But you could tell the difference. And I know if you're not a surfer, but if you're a surfer, maybe not a new surfer, but if you've been around 20, 30, 40 years, you can tell. And so I'll do that. I'll paddle up to the guy and go, "You're San Diego, right?" And he go, "Yeah. I'm almost always right." This is Mount Shasta. Yeah, it is. I heard good things about Shadow, or Jackie. I think she's still in the gestation window. So I think there's an opportunity here for the Big Bear Eagles. There is Mammoth Mountain. Beautiful. God, the coverage is ridiculous. And the snow, it's not very cold, though. It's not freezing up at Mammoth. That's interesting. But this next round of stuff will get them. This is the new camera. I kind of like this. It's kind of out by Ledbetter's. Northern Santa Barbara, not northern Santa Barbara, just north of town. To the left is town, State Street. To the right is the college. They're a couple miles up the road, but this is the junior college. Beautiful shot. Santa Barbara is going to go like into the mid 70s, and then Venice Beach, and just an active, fun thing. And thank you I got some interesting comments about the electric bikes. I appreciate that a lot, because you were right. I was kind of busting on like the little hot rod electric bikes, but I think you had like Section 8, or you have different categories, I guess. I haven't really delved deeply into it, but I appreciate it. You guys are always say such nice things, so I don't mind it when you have something you need that I'm not delivering. And I love watching the people. Artists, man. I'm not an artist. But artists, they're fun. Okay, you guys have a good day. That should be it. I'm running out of time. I'll see you back here tomorrow.